All right, today we're diving into one of biology's biggest puzzles, and it's hidden inside one of the planet's absolute weirdest looking creatures. We're talking about an animal that seems to just completely ignore the basic rules of aging and disease, rules that pretty much govern every other living thing.
So let's put this in perspective. You've got your typical house mouse. It lives for about 4 years, and like a lot of mammals, it can get cancer. Now, compare that to the naked mole rat. It's about the same size, also a rodent, but it can live for over 30 years. And get this, there are virtually 0 observed cases of cancer. The difference is it's staggering. And that's the core of the mystery we're unpacking.
So this all leads to the one obvious question, right? The one that has had scientists totally fascinated for years. What in the world is their secret? How does this bizarre little animal manage to basically defy one of nature's toughest diseases?
To solve this puzzle, researchers knew they had to look way deeper. I mean, this wasn't something you could figure out just by watching them run around. The secret had to be written into their very biology, down at the most fundamental level. And that's exactly where they started. The search for the naked mole rat's superpower began at the smallest possible scale, by looking at its most basic building blocks, its cells.
And you know what they found was pretty surprising. The first major clue wasn't the cells themselves, but a really unique substance that these cells were just pumping out in incredible amounts.
This substance is called hyaluronan, or just HA for short. Now, this isn't some strange alien molecule. Our own bodies make it, mice make it. It's a really common substance that basically acts like a scaffold for our cells, giving our tissues structure. So on the surface, it seems totally normal. Except it wasn't normal at all. Because when scientists looked closely at the HA made by the naked mole rat, they found something extraordinary. Their version of this molecule was gigantic, more than 5 times larger than the HA found in you, me, or a mouse. I mean, this chart really drives home just how massive that difference is. We're not talking about a small variation here. The naked mole rat's HA molecule absolutely dwarfs the version in humans and mice. So naturally, this colossal molecule immediately became suspect number 1. So a theory started to form. What if this giant, supersized molecule was acting like a kind of biological armor, a molecular super shield that was protecting the naked mole rat cells from ever turning cancerous? So how do they build this thing? Well, it all comes down to a really neat 3-part system. First, their bodies are like little molecular factories, using a special enzyme to churn out this HA at a really high rate. Second, they're not very good at cleaning it up. The enzymes that normally break HA down are way less active. And finally, their cells are extra sensitive to its signals. It's like the perfect biological storm for creating and keeping this incredible molecular shield. Okay, so this was a fantastic theory. The giant HA was the prime suspect, and the motive and means seem pretty clear. But you know, in science, a great theory isn't enough. You need definitive proof. You have to crack the case. And that led to the single most important question in this whole investigation. Is this molecular supershield really the thing that stops cancer dead in its tracks? To find out, scientists came up with this beautifully simple and direct experiment. First, they took naked mole rat cells and grew them in a petri dish. Second, they used enzymes to basically strip away that protective shield of supersized HA. Third, they introduced the exact same genetic mutations known to cause cancer in mouse cells, and then they just watched to see what would happen.
The results were absolutely definitive. Without their HA shield, the once invincible cells became totally vulnerable. They transformed, they became cancerous, and they easily formed tumors when they were put into mice. This was it. This was the smoking gun, the conclusive proof that this supersized HA was the secret to the naked mole rat's cancer resistance.
But hold on, because the story doesn't end there. This is where it gets even more fascinating. It turns out this incredible ability might just be a happy accident of evolution, a superpower that showed up for a completely different reason.
I mean, think about it. Why would this one animal develop such a sophisticated anti-cancer defense? The answer probably has nothing to do with cancer at all, but everything to do with where the naked mole rat lives.
The leading theory here is just so cool. Naked mole rats spend their whole lives squeezing through these really tight underground tunnels. To survive that, they needed incredibly stretchy, elastic skin. So the evolutionary adaptation was to pack their skin with a high concentration of HA. And the amazing side effect of that adaptation, a natural, built-in resistance to cancer.
As the researchers themselves put it, And this is a direct quote from their study. This trait may have then been co-opted to provide cancer resistance and longevity to this species. It's just a beautiful example of how evolution can repurpose a trait for a completely new, life-altering benefit.
And all of this leaves us with a really profound, forward-looking question. By understanding how this remarkable little rodent builds its molecular shield, we've basically opened up a whole new door in medical research. It really makes you wonder, could the secret to a longer, cancer-free life for all of us be hidden inside the world's strangest rodent?